Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about vaccination campaigns here in Egypt against coronavirus and the importance of getting the vaccine as soon as possible. We will also talk about achievements in health sector in Egypt in the past 7 years under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And to shed more light on this issue, I'm joined today by Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager, Inspector in Health Insurance Authority. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, sir, as I've just mentioned, that the vaccination campaigns now are taking place in every corner here in Egypt. So, tell us more about the importance of getting vaccinated as soon as possible.
First of all, thank you for having me tonight. And I'd like to shout out for the process of vaccination. And I'd like to say something very important for our viewers. For any pandemic all over the world, to secure or to save the population of any nation or any country, you're supposed to vaccinate like 50 to 70% of that population.
Yes.
And Egypt know that early, and I can say now we are on the right platform or on the right way. Because we don't think about importing the already made vaccine, but we transfer the technology of manufacturing vaccination here in Egypt. And we see last April 2021, Minister of Health, Dr. Adly, and that leadership of Chinese company,
Yes.
Sinovac, have agreement, and we already have received the first batches of the raw material
Yes.
of vaccine, and we got graced by the end of that month or beginning of the next month. We have Egyptian vaccine made in Egypt here.
But, sir, as we were just talking, there is no difference between the Sinovac and the Sinopharm. Just
this is just
the same
yes,
mechanism.
it's the same technology of manufacturing, but it's a difference
Just
of
companies, different companies.
Yes, and by the way, that China, we have here in Egypt now 4 registered vaccine. One is Sinopharm, which is a Chinese vaccine. Second is AstraZeneca, and the third is Sputnik 5, which is a Russian vaccine. And the last is Sinovac vaccine. But we have now 2 vaccines which have been used in vaccination centers now, which is Sinopharm and AstraZeneca, and in a few times we can see Sinovac after manufacturing through Vaxera, Egyptian company. And I think we can have the chance tonight to say for people, we encourage people to go to that center to take vaccine. Vaccine is safe and have efficacy, and please don't listen to anybody or to watch
rumors.
Yes, only national agency, which is Ministry of Health and Supreme Committee of COVID-19. These people are working hard under the leadership of Mr. President Fattah al-Sisi to secure and to save Egyptian population. So if somebody told you don't go and to take vaccine, you're supposed to know the scientific basis and scientific evidence for vaccination. As we see, Sinopharm vaccine having no side effects or very little side effects, which is like redness on the site of injection, or even no redness. AstraZeneca, which is sometimes having some side effects, but not even all people who having AstraZeneca having severe side effects as published or as people said. Only these people who having some problems, and when you go even to the center of vaccination, there is a doctor there asking you and telling you everything about vaccine before the process of vaccination, and you are optionally to take it or not. But he tell you everything about it and ask you if you have a history of diseases or not, because they prefer to give some people having some problems or some diseases a Chinese vaccine, and so there is no problem for taking vaccine, and even the percent of problems of AstraZeneca.
You said that AstraZeneca only affect people who have already problems.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Who it's affect people having some problems of something called the D-dimer. If D-dimer is high, it can be affected by AstraZeneca. And by the way, I'd like to tell you something. Only three groups of people can't go to take vaccination. Who is that groups? One is pregnant women. Not because of vaccination, because there is no enough researches about what can happen for pregnant women if she take
or the embryo.
Yes, or the embryo. Second, children under 18 years old.
Because the reaction
yes,
of the
they have no. There is no enough
studies.
No, immune system is very strong even to compete or combat that or contain that virus for the children and even the teenagers. But there is no enough researches about that. Sometimes the recent researches about that was the vaccine of Pfizer. Now they are giving it for children
under
up to 12 years old.
And sir, there is no way we can manufacture Pfizer here, or it needs a certain technology that is still not available here in Egypt?
You know, I don't say the third group, by the way.
Okay, please go ahead.
The third group is the people who having the COVID already in the time of vaccination. He supposed not to go to vaccination center to take vaccine. This is very dangerous for him to take vaccine once you have COVID-19. You're supposed to be to know that you don't have COVID-19, or you take it since 3 months ago, but don't you know that you have COVID-19 and to go for vaccination center to take vaccine. This is very dangerous for these people, and sometimes these problems because of that. About the technology of American vaccines, which is 3 vaccines right now, which is Pfizer vaccine, Moderna vaccine, and Johnson & Johnson vaccine. You asked me if we have a technology for production of these vaccines here in Egypt. We are working on, by the way, and many people don't know that we are working for from many sides, and know how to manufacturing Chinese vaccine,
the Russian vaccine,
and maybe we get, but one day we can make that American vaccine. Just the to work and to researches.
More,
That's
we
all.
just need more research.
Yes, more researchers. But the problem
also
of
it needs to be
American,
kept in minus 70 degrees.
yeah,
and
this is
the
we
problem.
talk the problems about American vaccine here in the Middle East, even
Yes.
not even in Egypt. By the way, it's need like 70%
Minus
under
70,
yes for storing, and then it's need steps even before injection of Pfizer vaccine. It doesn't come like that and take it direct and inject it into the case, or
Yes.
It's supposed to be diluted in
The Pfizer.
yes, diluted in sodium chloride or something like that to get to inject the. So this is
It's complicated.
not yes, and it's not we
Easy.
don't have that conditions now, but we have enough vaccines to compete that pandemic.
And to compete the pandemic, we need more people to take the vaccine.
That is the step. That is the main step.
Yes.
To contain and to keep that virus under control all the time, we supposed to reach 70% of population have been vaccinated already. And by the way, this is not an easy job to vaccinate 70% of 100 something million people. It's like 70 million person. It's not an easy job. You need like at least 140 million doses at least to cover these population as a first dose and second dose. But Egypt, as I told you, is working now for production, for even receiving the last batches or the other batches through COVAX or Gavi, and transfer the technology of manufacturing here in Egypt, and that will keep us having enough quantities of doses very fast. And when the process is very fast, we can vaccinate very fast and contain the problem very fast. Now we can see in USA.
The variants, or you mean?
No, I don't talk about variants. I talk about the population itself. Now they have only like the number of infected cases decreased in very low rate.
In Egypt?
No, in USA. But in Egypt, by the way, we thank God.
There is a decline in numbers.
Yes, we thank God that the numbers are decreased now. Since 2 or 3 weeks ago,
yes.
we have a high number, but now we are
But
having
I
a
think
little
that
number.
maybe we can reach a herd immunity, because in the past 2 or 3 months there were high infection rates in the country. Do you think that this will help in controlling the coronavirus, taking in consideration that we are vaccinating the rest,
Yes.
the rest of the population, and the other rest have already taken the COVID-19 itself, the disease itself? So maybe this will help in the decline.
Look, when we talk about that point, we are looking for other countries who make vaccination for population, like England and like USA, who make vaccination for a large scale. There is a difference with a vaccination. The number is decreased, and the dead case are rare, and this is the main important point. The dead case are very rare.
So now we can see that vaccination is successful.
It's very effective. Otherwise, we will see the number of this or dead case is the same. So there is no difference between
so it is really effective,
to be vaccinated or not. But that published, there is a very low dead case in that countries have vaccinated a lot of number of people.
They are starting to open again.
They are starting
Yes.
open and in
Life
a
is going
wide
to normal,
scale.
yes.
To come to the normal before COVID-19.
So, do you think that someday we can see an end to this virus, maybe in the coming 1 or 2 years?
That is a good
In the-
question, by the way. If we be able to vaccinate 70%, you will find the curve decrease very rarely for an infected cases and no dead case because of COVID. And this is the main important thing. And there is no collapsing for or looking for ICU for people. And this is the main problem of
Yes,
COVID, by
it
the
will not
way.
stop you from getting the virus, but it will decrease its symptoms.
Yes, and even the COVID itself be like a seasonal flu. There is no problem. We are talking about for closure the country or not, because we would like to protect people or to decrease the number of dead cases because of that pandemic. But when the problem become easy and become a seasonal, like seasonal flu, there is no problem and there is no need for a closing country like other countries.
So, do you think that we can reach this point someday? It
And
turns to be
a very near day, by the way,
Really?
because yes, because we, as I told you, we will increase the number of vaccinated vaccination, and once we increase the vaccination, parallel with the decrease of infected and dead cases, so it will be like a seasonal flu.
this
There
is
is
how
no problem.
viruses usually end.
Yes, this is what
Life cycle.
if there is no strange mutations, this is the problem. And by the way, when we manufacturing vaccines, there is a research centers watching the virus itself. It has been mutated or not. Because if it's mutated, vaccine itself, it will be protect the people, but in a less percent. Like what happened for
In India?
Indian mutation. Pfizer is in the normal one or in the first wave or first wave of the COVID was 95% protection.
So, do you think that the virus
And Indian mutation, it gives protection 88%. So it doesn't give the same percent of protection like the first one.
Yes.
So
But
that's
still
what we
still there is protection.
sure, there is protection, but I talk about the percent of protection.
Yes, it
But in the two cases, it protect from the progress of symptoms, which cause the death.
Yes. So, sir, if we talk about the technology of the RNA, was it used before in vaccinations, or this is the first time to be applied?
By the way, sometimes people, there is two, we know there is two ways for manufacturing of vaccine, which is a traditional way, which is used by Chinese companies. This depends on
weakening the virus.
Not
weakening
not,
or killing.
Yes, killing the virus and giving a core of spike only
without the
evacuated from mRNA to the case. So the case make or the, people make immunity bodies or the immunity for the spike of the virus. But the technology of mRNA, by the way, it's not a recent technology with AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca used that theory of production of vaccines through through mRNA with some other vaccines, and it gives a very good result. So they
it is
use
not dangerous, because people are circulating rumors that after 2-3 years you will start to suffer from side effects.
This is wrong.
Completely.
Completely.
Since it was tried in many vaccinations, in many vaccines.
It used before.
It is used before. This
the technology of using mRNA with even AstraZeneca itself as a company, it was used before with some vaccines, and it was safe.
Yes.
Then they changed that technology to the COVID-19. They just bring something called a carrier. A carrier is a virus, which is adenovirus from chimpanzee, and they make overloading of mRNA of COVID to that adenovirus.
And this is not dangerous to give the adenovirus?
This is not. Adenovirus itself is a weak virus. It doesn't give a very severe side effect.
Yes. It's weak itself.
Yes, but inside he has, it has the mRNA of COVID.
It's close to COVID.
Yes. So once it enters to the body create antibodies for messenger mRNA of COVID itself.
Yes.
And this is what we need. But to use the technology of carrier is not
it's a new
yes,
technology.
a new technology. It was used before.
Yes.
And even American vaccines depend on mRNA, but they give it as it is. They separate a small part of mRNA of COVID-19 through certain technology and inject it direct to the to people.
Yes.
So that it creates antibodies against it.
Finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager, Inspector in Health Insurance Authority. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you.
And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Thank you for watching.